there, this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. I am your host, Neena Perez, and we are here to discuss life topics to challenge and transform your thinking. Let's do this. Today, I have someone here because if you don't know him, you need to find out, okay? His name is Kelly Cardenas, and he is a keynote speaker, a Forbes contributor, an author, a podcaster. I'm going to go on and on because the resume is long, okay? He's a founder, a CEO of a national multi-million-dollar brand, and a cultural efficiency coach. And his purpose in life is to leave the world a better place than when he found it. Kelly, I cannot tell you how amazing it is that you are sitting across from me this way. I don't know if there was any other way that I would have ever met you, right? I mean, this is how our world has now become. Like,
Absolutely.
We're just so connected. How are you today?
I'm doing phenomenal. And Neena, I want to thank you for doing what you're doing with Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Like, you know, there's very few people that are willing to do what you're doing and bring an authentic message that it's not about the back end part of it. It's not about what you can get from people, but you're constantly contributing to people. And I want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. And that really is my heart. It truly, honestly is. And people are always like, how are you monetizing? I'm like, I just like give. I didn't think about that, and I just want to like impact people's lives. I really do. And one of the things, Kelly, I will let you know that some of the audience that you're going to be speaking to today, one gentleman stopped my husband at Lowe's, of all places. My husband's a contractor. And he remembered my husband from 2 to 3 years ago when I started the podcast. And he said, listen, tell your wife, Neena, that I said her podcast has completely transformed my life, has made me think of life completely differently, and has made me make decisions for my family to move forward. So that's the kind of audience you're speaking to, Kelly. You know what I mean? Like people that want to be impacted, So I'm grateful that you're here, because you are the impact dude. So if you don't mind, I'd like to just start off with you just giving us a little bit more about who Kelly is. For those who don't know you, I don't know how that's possible.
Well, I think that's possible everywhere. I'm a kid who grew up in Lompoc, California. For most of my life, my dad was in the military. And so we lived in a lot of other places up until Lompoc, but, we spent a lot of time there. It was about 35,000. And I didn't read well. I didn't write well. Lived in a single wide, lived in a double wide. My dad's Mexican. My mom's white. They're both from Utah, which it wasn't cool being Mexican in Utah at the time. We lived on the side of the freeway in a double wide mobile home and drove 40 miles each way uphill. It really was to school. But I was a kid who maybe lacked resources as far as financially, but never lacked love and never lacked prayer because my parents always prayed me up. I'm a kid who maybe didn't read that well and didn't write that well, but my mom always told me I was awesome, I was beautiful, and I could do anything that I put my mind to. But just because I could do it didn't make it right and didn't make it my purpose. And so I was filled with this love, and I was given wings by my two amazing parents. My mom passed away about 3 years ago. My pops is still around, and he still tells me to this day that gives me wings. He calls me every single day and says, "You're the greatest." And then he stops and he says, "So act accordingly." And I believe that if every person out there would act according to their own greatness and understand that they're awesome, understand they're beautiful, and understand that they can do anything that they put their mind to, but it doesn't make it their purpose, then we would have a little bit different view on this world. And so I want to encourage every single person out there that you're unique, you're beautiful, you're loved. And if you don't hear it enough, just listen to this podcast over and over again every single morning.
Yeah. And, that's powerful, right? Because you said so much. You were wealthy in love. And, a lot of people lack that. Lack growing up that way, right? I don't think I heard I love you for most of my youth. And so it's really kind of cool to hear that, because with my kids, I did a lot of what your mom did. I poured over them a lot of love, because I didn't get it. So I made sure I tried to, give. And I realized that it's a struggle for a lot of people, right? So you must encounter that, because when you're saying, you're loved, you're great, you're amazing. For people who are like in that other place, they must push back on that a little bit. You ever get any pushback?
If there is, I tend not to focus on it. And,
awesome. That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
And for me, people ask me all the time, like, I get a chance to be able to speak, to Fortune 500 companies, and I speak to smaller companies too. And the people always come up and like, I want to be an inspirational speaker. How can I be inspirational? And I'm like, honestly, like I didn't do any of these things. Like, this is who I am. So this is what I was taught, and I was taught by my parents. I was loved by my parents. And what I found was there was three things that built any business, and they were very, very simple, but because they're simple, most people overlook them. Number one, be really, really kind. And kind is different than nice. Nice is being polite. Kind is being of contribution. Number two is make a lot of friends. And if you make a lot of friends like you, and I apologize because I know we were scheduled for last week, and then we were going and we were back and forth, but you make friends. If you're kind and you contribute to people, you'll make friends. And then the last one is just work really, really hard.
Yeah.
And don't work really, really hard at grinding and hustling and but work really hard at being kind, which will make friends, which will get you working harder at being kind, because you'll make friends. And when you have friends who do things like you that have this phenomenal podcast, I don't have to be Neena. Right. Because you're my friend, I can borrow your credibility. Right. If you continue to borrow people's credibility in life, I mean, I tell you, magic can happen.
Right. And the truth is when you're friends, you don't mind, you don't care about that. Right. That's one thing I've learned, Kelly. You probably have seen this too, because you said you were in a double wide and stuff. So you didn't come with, like what they say, with the silver spoon. Right. So that there's a different in mind shift too that happens. Right. When you are maybe living in lack and poverty, which is where I came from. Right. And then when you start to shift your mindset to know that you want to impact more lives and have more, you realize it's not about competition, but collaboration. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest shifts is most of the people who do the friends I'm around that do phenomenal things, they don't focus on doing phenomenal things. They just focus on being the best at what they are doing at that particular moment. And, for me, Neena, I was, I learned very early on in my career in the professional beauty industry. I learned how I was a fan of math. It was a muscle that I had, and I worked it a lot. And I figured out, a combination, how to make $100,000 a year. That was huge to me because no one in our family had ever done it. Right. So, but it was simple. It was very simple. I mean, $100,000 a year is only $2,000 a week, and $2,000 a week is only $400 a day. And $400 a day is only $50 an hour. Wow. So if you can produce $50 an hour, you can do six figures. But then I wanted to say, okay, I got to that. I want to see how I could do $1 million. $1 million is just, $2,000, or $1 million is $20,000 a week, right? So $20,000 a week times 50 weeks in the year is $1 million. And so when you look at that, it's only $4,000 a day. And so $4,000 a day is $500 an hour. How can you produce that in your business? But most of the people are like, I could show you how to do a 6-figure, 7-figure business, but they've never done it. Right. And we've done it multiple times. We did it in very small places with no marketing, no social media, none of those things. And, wow. But what I found is when I made my first $100,000 a year, I was 24 years old, and I was still broke in my mind. So right. My spirit, my mindset was this scarcity, and it took a little bit of time to settle in and realize that it was okay to be okay.
That's good. That's good. How did you start to develop that? Like what were the kind of steps that you took to get out of that poverty mentality or scarcity mentality? What took you to that next level? Because $100,000, like you said, you break it down like that, doesn't seem like much, right? But when you say millions of people, they almost panic a little bit. So how did you get to like push yourself to that next level?
I think that it's not about focusing on the million or the 100,000, which right. gets people so freaked out. I think it's about learning how to mow a lawn. When I was a kid, I learned how to mow a lawn, and I got $10 for it. If you multiply that and you do 3 lawns in a day, you get $30. $30 times 5 days a week is 150. You know what I mean? And 150 times 50 weeks in a year is 7,500. So I think the first thing is to understand and know that you're awesome, that you're beautiful, and that you can. But second thing that I would suggest for every single person out there is that if you don't love math, you will always be controlled by someone who does. Mm-hmm. So the people out there that says, I'm not a math person, No, you just haven't worked the muscle. It's a muscle. And when you do that, and then we actually created a financial literacy course that we've had, I partnered with about 4.5 years ago. And it's teaching, both of us have Latin background, and most of the Latin community, all of you loving some Neena Perez, we all know how to work really hard. We stick our nose to the grind, and then we just keep working, but we never look up.
Yes.
But what we're doing is helping young Latin people that have the work ethic like no other to start to understand financial literacy. And when that starts to happen, then we can honor our gifts. And when you're free from the financial stresses that you have, and you could just give away your gifts, I mean, you talk about being able to expand the kingdom. Imagine, Neena, if you had no challenges, nothing, no financial weight on you at all, and all Neena did was go around and just give away her gifts. How amazing would this world be? And that's what I want to share with every single person out there, not just the Latin ones, but especially them.
Right. And that's beautiful that you're doing that, because what you're saying is facts. What you're saying is facts. And I was raised that way as well, right? You work for a company for 25 years, you retire, you die. And oh, wait, good benefits. You need the good benefits.
Yes.
That is, I mean, that's probably not just a Latino thing, but it can be a very Latino thing to go to a place where you get benefits, that's really powerful. So let me ask you this question. You keep saying that people are beautiful. And what did you say? They're beautiful.
They're awesome. They're awesome. They're beautiful. And you can.
And why do you say that? Why do you believe that, and that people are that?
Well, I believe that is because that's what I was raised on. My mom would scratch my back every single morning and wake me up. And I always loved it. My mom passed away 3 years ago. I love her to death, and she's still with me to this day, but she would tell me every single day, you're awesome. Whatever you do is awesome. Like, I would get my name on the board and get a yellow slip and come home and get detention. She would always look at me. She would never be disappointed. She would tell me that I was awesome.
Wow.
And she would tell me that I was beautiful. And she never compared me to my two brothers, which could be deafening or debilitating for a guy like me that couldn't read well, couldn't write well, I didn't have my thing, but my brother is one of the top attorneys in Las Vegas. My other brother is a doctor. So here's this kid that comes along that can't read that well, can't write that well, but I'm constantly being told you can take chances, try it out. And if just because you could do it though, doesn't make it your purpose. But once you get locked into your purpose, and I know, Neena, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what my purpose is to speak life into every individual and situation that I come in contact with. And so I find that when I deal with organizations and people say, how do you change them? I go to the people. And if you build the people, this is what my dad taught me. Shout out to my pop. If you build the people will build the business. But if you don't build the people and you build the business will crumble.
So true.
Build the people.
Right. Wow. Do you think that your faith has a lot to do with it? Seeing people in that lens. I know Mom had a lot to do with it. And, you're just speaking so much life into me right now, because that is so powerful. Right. And I have a grandchild now, and I want to speak that life into my grandchild, because you're absolutely right. I also too, I had a little bit of ADD growing up, a little bit of dyslexia. So I had the same challenges. Right. And I still do. I still have those challenges. It's not like, dyslexia really goes away. But what I realize is that I'm smart. I'm wicked smart. And I'm determined to do things. Right. My biggest contributor to my life has been my faith. Do you feel like you having faith has helped you also elevate the way you think, change perspective, look at people differently?
Well, it was amazing, because I came up the other day with 7 principles that will make any company or individual successful. And here they are. Number 1, trust God. Number 2 through 7, choose whatever you want, but none of them matter anyway, as long as you stick to number 1. And all the people seriously are running around and they're trying to find this and find the meaning of life and all the stuff. And what God is saying, and this is what my dad said to me the other day, God is saying to you, I'm right here. I own it all. I own the millions. I own the billions. So as opposed to searching after them and studying them, why don't you just study me? And then I'll give you the wisdom, and then I'll help you to be kind. I'll help you to make friends, and I will help you to produce hard work at being kind. And that cyclical thing will continue to happen. And, you know, but it wasn't always that way. I mean, I had my dad that was telling me, he said, you know, read one page, like one page of the word a day. And I was like, this is some boring stuff. And he said, read it and go to bed. And then he said, and he would, and my mom, no matter what happened, didn't matter what was going on, my mom was always praying, always praying. My dad has a prayer list to this day. Every single thing that I tell him about, everything I tell him, I'm thinking about buying this house. He puts it on his prayer list. He dates it. And then he tells me the date, not so God will remember, but so we'll remember when God blesses us that it didn't come out of the blue. Ain't nothing coming out of the blue. Everything is coming out of God. And when we start to recognize that, we unleash daddy's power. I mean, can you imagine, Neena, if I gave you a credit card right now and I said to you, this credit card, it's unlimited budget. You can have anything you want. You charge as much as you want and you will never get the bill. What would you charge? Everything.
Yeah. Like, are you doing that, Kelly? Because I'll give you my address.
Well, and what I want you to know is we serve a God who has given us a credit card with no limit, and we never see the bill. And what he wants us to do is charge on his reputation, because on his reputation, like I don't have to be anything. That's why I can sit here smiling with you and hang out, because I've got a chance to be able to do those things as far as when you were talking about building multi-million-dollar businesses, speaking and author and all those things. But the only reason why is because I was gifted with it. So I can't brag about a gift. And when we honor those gifts, Neena, you better watch out.
Isn't he amazing? Watch out. Yeah, it is absolutely an amazing feeling to be in a relationship with the Lord. It is just an amazing feeling. You know, I when I was younger, I kind of strayed away for a while. And then God made sure he stripped me down to nothing and brought my behind right back.
Shout out to all my Latinos out there and all my Latinos out there. You know exactly what she's talking about. We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been there, and I'm grateful for it. I'll do it again if it means that I'm going to just keep getting closer to him. Right. So is your relationship with God really like a day-to-day thing for you? Like, do you hear his voice? Do you feel his presence? Do you feel him pushing you forward? Or is it just something that you just know?
It's every day. Every day, I get to spend time with them. I spend time with them in the morning. I'm very fortunate. I live right by the water in San Diego. Nice. I ride my bike down to the beach. I read the word, and then I write 3 pages. And there's times where I'm writing to him. There's times where he's writing to me. And, I remember the first time that he audibly spoke to me, and at first I thought it was crazy, right? I was in my car and I just got done with the meeting, and the meeting didn't go well at the salon where I was working. I had said something and some people were against it. And then clear as day, I was at the stoplight in the car by myself, and God said, it's over. And I was like, I looked around, I was like, cause I was mad about my job. And then he said it again. And when he said it again, I knew who he was, but I hid my head like a little kid, like a 5-year-old when you're playing hide and seek and you just hide your head so you think your parents can't see your feet coming out the bed. And I knew who it was, but I was hiding. And then the third time he said, it's over. Wow. And at the second time I was arguing with God, like, no, don't worry about it. I'm mad at my job. And he said, it's over. And literally, like, what was this? 10 days later, I got a call at 9:30 at night that was, or 11:30 at night in Memphis, which was still 9:30 at night on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. Offering me a job that I had never applied for. That was the number one job that I had wanted in my life, and followed the guy for 2.5 years. God is real. And
yes,
his voice, watch this, Neena, his voice is going every single day. Yeah. But just like a radio station, when you're not tuned into that radio station, it doesn't mean that the radio station ain't playing.
That's right.
Tune in. Good stuff is happening.
Kelly, that is so powerful. And I really respect you for sharing that, right? Because a lot of people are like afraid of talking about these kind of about their beliefs. I speak about mine. I have no problem with it because in the word, it says that if you deny me in front of man, I'll deny you in front of my Father. And there is no way in heck that I'm going to risk going to heaven and not being with God because I needed to impress you. It's not going to happen. That's my little straight talk for the day.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. No sugar added.
No sugar added. And you know what, Kelly, the truth is I actually believe every word that's coming out of your mouth because I have those kind of experiences with God as well. I mean, I hear him super clearly when he wants me to hear him. He makes it very, very clear. That's one thing. He doesn't muffle. He's not afraid. He's not, and anything like that. He's a very powerful God. And I respect you. Like I said, I follow you on social media and I listen to your messages. I listen to your podcast, which is super fun. And I really love what you put out because what you put out is authentic. It just feels like it's authentically you. Like, I feel like if I went to Kelly's house right now, we'd be chilling and you'd be the same exact way. Like, I don't ever see you like, I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm wrong, but like when I watch you on social media, you just seem like this is you. This is you. Is that what you know?
It is. And
yeah,
it makes my wife mad at times because she's like, honestly, can you wait till my hair is done or whatever it is? And for me, if you notice on my social media in the last couple of weeks, actually the last month, it's been very sparse. And the reason why is because I went on vacation for a month with my family. And
nice.
I don't want to speak anything in a video or on this audio that doesn't come from my heart. And I constantly, I mean, that's the thing that, people will teach you techniques. But I find that people think that the success is in the methods or the techniques, but really the magic is in the moment. And when you can spend time truly with the people that you're with or the moment that you're with, and then you just talk about it. That's going to be the most inspiring because what my brother told me is, big shout out to Rob. Like he told me, he said, Kel, like you can talk about the things that you've done, the businesses you've built or the people you've grown, but most people want to hear about, when you failed, when you fell over and that you got up and that, my mom taught me one word way to succeed in life. And it was simply this, Neena, shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like she was not a cussing woman. But she raised her shoulders, she raised her arms, and she said, you were late for work today. Shit, make it better. Don't get mad. You got divorced. Shit, like maybe you shouldn't have been married to her. Maybe you're going to find a better woman. You lost your job.
I love it.
Shit.
I love it.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So if we can do that, then we laugh. And when we laugh, we open things up. We're joyous and we don't take things as serious, but because I believe that God has a sense of humor. He really does. And he wants us to be joyous. He wants us to look at our circumstances and honestly, like to realize, and this is the big thing that I just learned was people get so mad when they step in dookie, right? Oh, there's so much mess and so much dookie, so much crap in my life. Well, remember that crap is the fertilizer for all the seeds that has been planted in your life. So don't go through crap. You ain't going to have any growth.
Oh, that's good. Go ahead, Kelly. Drop that mic. Go ahead. You can walk off the screen right now.
I like that. I like hanging with you. You're awesome.
I like hanging with you. So before I'm going to let you go really quick, I know that you do so many things. So I know you're busy and I know you have like webinars and courses and your book and you have a lot of amazing things. So I don't want to let you go ever, but since I have to, because you have a wife and kids and stuff, that happens. Can you let us know how, like, at least my audience, I know they're going to want to follow you. So let us know where we can find you.
Well, I think the number one thing that every one of your audience members is doing is following you. Listening to the straight talk, no sugar added. Honestly, it'll add life to you. It'll speak life to you. So do that before you follow anything that I'm doing. It is kellycardenas.com that you can find all the resources on. My Instagram is @TheRealKellyCardenas. And, we've got courses, digital ones. We've got books that are paper or digital. We got YouTube, we got TikTok. I'm not that good on it.
Neither.
But I wanted to make sure that we had a median for every single person. Some people don't like to read. They like audio. Right. Some people don't like audio. They like to watch. Some people like to read a paper book. But I wanted to make sure that we had a median for every single person out there. And I want to make sure that, no matter who you are, no matter where you're at in your life right now, everything's going to be okay. And if it's not okay, it's not the end right now. And I really want to encourage you because the first step in any success, it's not about getting a course and learning how to be a millionaire or making 100,000 or making 30,000 or making 40,000 or whatever it is. The first thing is to understand and know the principles that my mom taught me, which is you are awesome. You are beautiful and you can, but just because you can doesn't make it your purpose and doesn't make it right. So figure out your purpose, which your purpose is nothing more than identifying your gifts and go give them away to every single person possible. And guess what'll start to happen? Magic.
Right.
As people call
love it. I love it. I want to honor your mom. She's an amazing mom. She's just, you know, it's unbelievable, right? Like how she touched you, but how now you use that wisdom and touch so many others. So your mom has touched all of us, I think, and your dad too. Like such a blessing, right? To go through a life with those type of parents. Amazing. Good for you. I'm so happy for you, you know, because I think that God, you know, will use those type of things to really impact people's lives. I remember speaking to someone, and I'll let you go, where she said, I've never gone through anything because I've been through a lot in my life. So she was saying, but I've never been through anything. And I said, that is the testimony. You know, the testimony is God was with you and you didn't go through anything. And my testimony is God was with me and I went through things. Why are we comparing? You know, but what a blessing, Kelly. You really should be like full of joy that you had those kind of parents in your life. Right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And now you could pass that on to those little ones of yours. How old are they?
I've got a 9-year-old who's about to be 10 and then a 12-year-old who's about to be 30.
Are they fun?
So, yeah, my daughter is still 12-year-old, obviously. And both of them are they're joys. I was sitting on the couch this morning and I got to go on a date with my daughter last night. And if I could share something with you before we go, I want to show you something that I believe can impact every single parent. I just dropped some stuff, but every single parent out there, I believe this can transform a relationship. My daughter went through COVID as everybody else did, not getting sick, but went through COVID as far as the shutdowns and all those things.
Okay.
And she was going into 6th grade, and 6th grade is a tough time for a young lady.
Very.
And so what I did is she had some rough time. And so what I did is took a notebook, and every day I write a letter to her. And at the end of the week, I give her the letter. I give her the 7 letters. She reads them and she gives them right back. But what I get a chance to do is I get a chance to express to her all the things that she did the day before that was awesome. And what I find is when you start writing it down, at first you're going to struggle to write. And then as you go, your mindset will shift into focusing on all the great things that person is doing, because you're going to need to write in the morning about it. And when this starts to happen, that person, that young lady, and I'll show you, I mean, this is, this is since March.
Wow.
So then she starts to understand how much she's valued. Right. And, it's a big thing. And then this one is for my wife. So on Mother's Day, I gave my wife one, and I write her a letter every day telling her all the great things that she is and how much I appreciate her. And these things, guys, are not Instagram worthy. They're not, they're not going to make you shine. They're not going to make you millions, but what they are going to do is solidify the one thing that really matters, which is family anyway. And when you honestly build a family and you have a phenomenal relationship with your wife, with your kids, then all the rest of the stuff will come. Yeah. But if you build all the rest of it and you don't have all this stuff.
So true.
You watch out.
I don't know if you know Jeff Lopes, but he talks about that too. I love Jeff. Yeah, I love him. And he does talk about, how he honors his family. He makes sure he shuts work down and he's spending time with his family. Don't call him, don't text him, don't email him. He's not answering, and you're right. Another thing, Kelly, I've said this in the past with good fathers. I didn't have one, but I honor those that are. Because you don't understand. I mean, I guess from a daughter's point of view, the power that you instill in your daughter every time you honor her. You know what I mean? There is a strength and an honor that comes from the father that a mom is nurturing and loving. I'm a mom, so I'm not saying moms don't do that, but there's something about a dad, right? And I guess I'm speaking to it from a perspective of not having one. right? So when you speak from a perspective of not having one, then you see when a good dad steps up, like the honor that that gives. So you're amazing. And you'll see what I mean when you see your daughter become a woman, you know, and the impact that your life is going to make on her because you do this. Very cool.
I appreciate
Very
it.
cool.
I'm very blessed that I have a phenomenal father. I have a phenomenal mother, and
yeah,
I had great, and I have a brother who stepped in as a hero in my life in every aspect of the word.
That's so cool. I don't want to end this conversation, but Kelly, I know we have to. Guys, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to please follow Kelly wherever he is, because you will not be disappointed. I will make sure to link all of his stuff in bio in the bottom here so that you don't miss a thing. This guy is full of wisdom. He is full of love. He's full of kindness. You don't want to miss having this kind of spirit in your life. So we'll see you soon. This is Neena Perez, Straight Talk, no sugar added. Until next time. Make sure that you visit our website at Straight Talk, No Sugar Added, where you can subscribe to our show on iTunes and Stitcher or anywhere you listen to your podcast or on YouTube, so you'll never miss a show. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about our show, that would be awesome too. If you like this show, you might want to check out our book as well. It's Hit Me With Your Best Shot, How I Overcame a Hard-Hitting Life. I am Neena Perez, and I am here for you. If you are looking for private coaching, make sure that you email me at hello@straighttalknosugaradded.com. Until next time.